Hey guys, Devin Norcross here on Norcross Consulting Services, your one-stop shop for all of your credit repair and debt settlement needs, servicing mortgage-related referrals. First, I want to start talking about the credit bureaus themselves and why our services might be needed. Did you know that 80% of credit reports contain detrimental errors? Now, these can be defined as things like duplications, incomplete trade lines, bad authorized user accounts. We have merged socials. We have junior-senior cross-reference files. We have brothers and sisters that have very similar names and very similar socials and regularly get their information cross-referenced on their file. Some of the stuff that we see mortgage originators are very rarely identifying. Okay, when we look at things like collections in the mortgage FICO scoring model are weighted by the date of last activity, not the balance. This conflicts very much with the new FICO models and the new Vantage score models, which take into account the balance when interpreting the impact of collections. Right now, I can show you an example of a portfolio recovery collection that has been re-aged. When I say re-aged, I mean that the date of last activity on this collection is not reporting accurately. And in this example, this is having a 50-point and a 70-point hit on 2 of the 3 credit bureaus. This is something we see very often. This happens frequently when debt is bought and sold. This happens occasionally when clients call and just inquire about their debt. The date of last activity cannot be changed unless your client makes a payment to that account. So re-aging is a huge issue we run into. So is duplications. Most originators I work with think about duplications as the same account replicated on the same bureau twice. More, what you're going to find is the same balance represented twice in the credit bureau. You cannot have a charge-off with a balance and also have a collection supporting that charge-off also with a balance. That is a violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And a third example I can show you that we see a lot is late payments after accounts are paid off, consolidated, or refinanced. In this example, we have an auto loan that was turned in and the new vehicle was purchased in October 2018. And then we have a 30-day late that pops up 2 years later in December 2020. These are things we get on a regular basis, and none of these were actually identified by the client or the referring partner. Errors on credit reports are very common, and that's why the Fair Credit Reporting Act exists. The Fair Credit Reporting Act says expressly that everything on your credit report must be 100% complete, accurate, not misleading or obsolete, and verifiable. That is what determines whether the FCRA investigations will confirm or remove an item when contested. Now, that's not the only thing we do here at Credit Repair's FCRA investigations. We also do a lot of positive credit consulting. And in my opinion, we're going to get just as many points back to your clients in most cases by positive credit changes as we do by negative credit changes. And to better understand how we're going to advise your clients on positive credit changes, we first need to understand how scores are calculated and the flow of information. The most important thing to understand, and I'm sure you personally as a mortgage originator would love it if every client you have understood this piece of information, credit bureaus do not provide your credit score. The credit bureaus are simply data collection firms. They are filing cabinets. You can request that information. You can request the information what's in my file. You're going to do so right before you close the loan. You're not going to look for credit scores. You're just looking for new accounts. You're looking for new debts. Or you can include information from a scoring agency. If I'm buying a mortgage, we're going to use a FICO mortgage score, and it's going to be mortgage 5, 4, and 2 FICO algorithms. If I'm buying a car, they're going to be separate from that. If I'm buying a credit card, they're going to be separate from that. But the credit scoring agency is what provides the credit score, not the credit bureau. And this graph, I think, eloquently elaborates on how that flow of information takes place. Unfortunately, there's a model called Vantage score model that is very widely used, and it conflicts very heavily with the FICO scoring model in many ways. The Vantage score model is most commonly found by using a Credit Karma score. And there are other sites like ScoreSense, Identity Guard, My Credit Keeper. Pretty much all consumer sites are going to use a Vantage score model. However, you can get mortgage FICO scores in a soft pull format. This has been one of the greatest tools that I've been able to provide lenders in the last 5 years. There's a site called MyFICO. MyFICO is Fair Isaac's own website. If your client goes to MyFICO and signs up, they can, within a few short clicks, find their mortgage soft pull credit score, and it'll exactly match what you pull in-house. I use this on a very regular basis to determine if it's time to greenlight a credit repull or if we need to do a little more work. In the image I have behind me, you will see that on the home page of the MyFICO site, you will get the FICO 08 score. Typically, when a client tells you that they know their FICO score, that's what they think they know. That's what the Mint app gives them. That's what their credit card app gives them. The FICO 08 is not a viable mortgage score. But if you see in the lower left of that initial image, there is a widget that says score type by loan type or score version by loan type. If you click mortgages, you will see scores 5, 4, and 2 directly matching what you will pull in-house. So if I have a client do a My FICO soft pull and they're a 641, you can bet if I have my lender pull credit that day, they're also going to get a 641. Clients must set this up. It does charge $39 a month to use this service. One of the other benefits of the My FICO site is you can also identify other FICO scores. Maybe you personally are going to be doing some traveling soon or purchasing an auto vehicle. You can identify which of your scores or which bureaus meet the minimum threshold for the card you're seeking, or which bureau has the highest score, to see if you can find a bank or credit union that'll service an auto loan using that bureau. Lots of great benefits on the My FICO site. I can't say enough about it. Internally, we have some great tools as well. We have what's called our 360 Credit Health platform. This is a fantastic credit monitoring tool that we supply our clients when they're enrolled in our program, and they've got a lot of great tools. They can track their credit here. They can use score analyzer tools to see what different impacts maybe opening an account or raising a credit limit or paying down a balance would do. They can also search for cheaper interest. There's also some financial management tools. They can link their bank accounts, they can link their credit cards, pay their cards directly through here. They can do debt reduction estimates. So let's say I advise a client to pay their credit card down to 30%. They can put a time frame in the calculator and figure out how much they're going to have to pay on that card to meet that goal or meet that time frame for that debt reduction goal. It's a great tool we have. We can also update the credit up to 3 times a month, as can the client, and we can do 3 bureau credit soft pulls at any point in time. I will say we do use a Vantage score model, as FICO unfortunately will not release us their FICO mortgage scoring models. So when we see enough change in here, we then redirect the client to My FICO, confirm that their approval range, and get them back to the lender to do a hard pull and complete their pre-app application. Now, I've said the term FICO and I said the term Vantage a few times, and I just want to briefly look at a timeline of what's taking place. A couple big takeaways to know what's happening in the scoring agency industry. There's a lot of new information that's come out on how smaller and paid collections impact someone's loan worthiness. The new FICO models 8, 9, and 10, and Vantage Score 1.0 through 4.0 have come to very similar conclusions, and they've decided that paid collections and small medical really don't indicate someone's loan worthiness. And what they've done is they've really taken almost the entire, if not all, the penalty of these items out of the scoring model. Now, unfortunately, in the mortgage scores with FICO, we are dealing with some pretty dated algorithms. They do go off the date of last activity, which is the client's charge-off date or their last payment date. They do not look at the balance. So sites like Credit Karma might give advice that your score will go up by XYZ if you pay your collection to 0. We oftentimes see the inverse impact to the mortgage FICO scores. So keep in mind, scoring model 5, 4, and 2, on collections, we look at the date of last activity. New FICO models and Vantage score models, there is 0 penalty for paid collections or small medicals under 500 is what the Vantage Score 4.0 model is currently set at. Are we taking advantage of authorized users? Are we reducing our revolving debt? Are we negotiating credit limit increases? Do we need to close recently open trade lines? Do we need to open secured credit cards? Do we need to take student loans out of deferment? Do we need to get action on credit cards that haven't been used in 6 to 9 months? These are all very strong ways to improve someone's positive credit. When it comes to their negative credit, really 2 main channels. Number 1, can it be removed through a pay for delete negotiation? Can the borrower afford it? Can we help them pay less and secure that removal? And number 2 is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Can we write a letter to the credit bureaus to verify, is this item meeting the standards of the burden of proof clause? Is it 100% complete, accurate, not misleading or obsolete, and verifiable? That is what we want to do. We want to represent your client in this action and get these clients back to you and at a closing table as soon as possible. If you have any questions about our program, please let me know. My name is Devin Norcross. I do have a Calendly link below if you'd like to self-select time to meet with me or one of my team members.